5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome everyone to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences.
Holy shit.
This is a podcast where my co-host and I listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts and media from the previous week, and we get together at a podcast host, and today we are back
you can
at
tell
Higher
that
Gravity.
Marco's catalytic converter is perfect shape.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Just
Yes.
firing
Yes.
all cylinders.
Yeah. At Higher Gravity Summit Park, thank you for being a gracious podcast host.
Even though they do have a couple of 1- and 2-star reviews, so I don't know
I know.
what kind of place we're at.
I know. I went and I looked at them, and thankfully, they're from...
Like 7 years ago.
Well, one of them's from recent. The other one's from like 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's
but
fine.
Anyway, it's fine. Yeah, thank you, Higher Gravity. My name is Marco. I'm a taproom manager here locally, and I used to brew beer. This is a podcast where my co-host and I listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer media from the previous week and watch all of it, and we get together and talk about it. Maybe I said that before. I don't know. Honestly...
All right. Well, we have other things besides this podcast that we want to do. Kind of a little preview. Hopefully by this weekend, we're going to try to have a video up of some questions around holidays and beverage drinking and what to pick.
It's a lot of
that we're going to.
Last year we collected listener questions. This year we did the same
thing. Yep.
We've recruited
Producer
Nick
to answer the wine questions because none of us are qualified for that at all.
I drank wine a couple times.
But do you know as much about wine?
Yeah, red wine is like red.
Oh.
White wine is
Isn't?
lighter.
Yeah.
And it's not
It
red.
it could be pink.
What?
It could be pink and sparkling.
What?
Well, then it's not
What?
white.
What?
I
never
am a
mind.
wine buyer.
I take my stance
I
back.
buy wine for the place I work at.
One time I had a wine, and when you touched the cork, it went
Ooh,
fired
Yeah.
right off. And
Hell
it was fizzy.
that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Well, so we can get to those discussions and topics. Do you want to talk about the very few amount of craft beer medias, the thing that this podcast is actually about?
Yeah, we need to run through that though.
Yeah,
I feel like you don't actually know what this podcast is about.
No, we really don't.
I feel like
we try to figure it out every single week.
I feel like
Mark, are there any disclaimers that we need to like?
So the thoughts and opinions on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with that is full-time jobs, part-time jobs. Mainly that's for me. Julia, sort of, and the Gnarly Gnome
Sure.
can speak for whoever he wants, but I certainly cannot. And so that's just covering my ass in case any of my supervisors or the people that own the place I work for listen to this and have any,
Qualms with what you're saying.
qualms with, and because it's just us. That's it.
Yeah.
All of my thoughts and opinions are sponsored by O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
Ding.
I did talk
Awesome.
to one of your coworkers today. Yeah.
Julius?
How'd that go?
No, Marcos.
Oh, yeah?
I stopped by for a beer this afternoon, and there was lots of construction happening in one of the locations.
No, really?
right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty.
It was pretty chaotic.
Pretty awesome. Chaotic.
It was chaotic. It was loud.
Yeah.
It was loud. Generators and all kinds of things happening.
Interesting. All right. I know you said you didn't listen to anything, so Marco,
I did. I listened to a few things.
Okay.
I was joking. It was sarcasm.
Did you watch Barstool Perspective?
Yes.
From Friday? Awesome.
Yes.
Did Marco?
I think.
You?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you chimed in.
I did twice, actually.
I don't know how quick I got onto it though. It might have been like 5 minutes late.
Okay.
I don't know.
And then Blake's Craft Beer Podcast,
Oh,
which
Balaki.
wasn't necessarily Cincinnati-based, but it touched on a topic that is very important
Yeah,
to
it's
a lot of our local breweries.
Ohio Craft Brew.
I'm a firm believer that if
Craft
you're talking
Beer
about
Council.
Ohio beer, it's Cincinnati based.
I agree.
For them, yeah.
Ohio
yeah,
beer
it's
is
probably-
Cincinnati based.
I agree.
And then we're going to touch on a very brief episode of the Weekly Pint.
Yeah,
Very brief.
TWP.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Doesn't
And
rhyme,
taco.
but you know what? And Taco.
Taco was not there.
Will Taco make an appearance on
At
Weekly
some
Pint
point.
at some point?
I'm hoping
An
it's
old
He changed
Grizzly
his,
man,
He made it
old
very
crusty
clear that he
man.
changed his nickname. He came up with a new one.
So let's go ahead, since we're already sort of talking about it, let's go ahead and start with the Weekly Pint episode 239, Dark Beer Season, even though that had absolutely nothing to do with what you talked about for 15 minutes.
The beer that I was drinking was dark.
Yes.
And I was supposed to talk about Dark
fantastic.
Charge.
Yes.
And there was
And it
like
was
a
just-
tie-in that was supposed to happen, just didn't.
Charge.
We're looking forward to when you do go live either later this week or even just rolled into next Monday to talk about all things
Yeah.
dark beer. The Bengals game was on. You had, he's not the silly old elf anymore.
No, he changed his nickname. He is now called Drew Bug, is what he said he wanted to be called. I don't know where he came up with that. I don't know how that happened.
He hasn't been called that before?
I know,
Drew
that's what I
Bug?
was
I have no idea.
Like, I feel like that's something that.
Well, he's not my
like, the
kid.
matriarch
Well, I don't
of
know.
the
I don't know
family
where would it come
say.
from. I don't know. Drew Bug. It's weird. It's a weird name.
Okay.
Can we call him a Shadruzi?
Yeah, he might.
okay.
He might actually like that. Yeah, he would probably
You'll need
start.
to ask him about that.
Yeah.
This was only about a 15-minute episode because the Bengals game was on. That stupid ass
Sort of.
Sync
I was
thing.
watching The Simpsons.
It.
The Simpsons.
I didn't.
I feel
I
like
don't know.
I feel like today I could go back and rewatch the game with The Simpsons and probably enjoy it.
But trying to do it.
I
simulcast,
didn't like it at all. Simon.
I
I didn't like it.
I didn't either. I did not either.
I started and I switched immediately, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
No,
I let it go for
But
the
if it was
first
a-
quarter, but I was like watching the actual game, and then I kept kind of looking over to see what the Simpsons.
I don't know
were
who
doing, and
that's
I'm like,
for.
It's-
Right,
It's not for me.
it's supposed
not
to be
for
for kids.
kids.
It's supposed to be for
But-
kids.
I never.
You're kind
although-
of like a child.
yes,
the size of a child.
but The Simpsons started in my
Yeah, same. Yeah.
lifetime, almost adult lifetime, and then to this point,
Do
and
you
I
still-
was never
No,
a
but-
Simpsons watcher.
Well, then it's not for you. But if like you were like currently a Simpsons watcher,
Or you have been for a long time.
yeah, like if you currently are a fan of The Simpsons, like it might be for you.
It might be fit. Yeah. It was. I mean, it was all right. I mean, the game in and of itself. I'm glad I stayed up till the very end, but.
Yeah.
Jesus,
It was
a great game.
That was
Oh.
amazing.
It was a very
was good
stereotypical
football.
Bengals game.
It's good football.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Some of the things that you did briefly touch on in this episode, silly old elf, who is no longer the silly old elf, was back in studio. He was chiming in every minute or
He's
so.
been
He
he's
was
been asking me
very excited.
every day for the last week. Hey, Daddy, do you have to do a show tonight?
Love that.
And I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
I don't.
Love that.
Could you do a show tonight? I'm like, no, don't need to do a show tonight.
Love that.
I feel like I'm at home.
You were drinking that day's beer vent beer,
It was
which was
a great beer. It was a great beer.
That was absolutely phenomenal. And
Shout out to Jason. Great pick.
Absolutely. And then again, it was just a shorter episode because of all the chaos that we just
Very
mentioned.
chaotic,
Very,
which-
very chaotic.
Always is.
I do have a multiple choice question still.
Ah,
And then
Julie's
sip and
multiples.
sniff count. So what did Gnome not talk about? A, puppies. B, label approvals. Or C, TAFs.
Oh, there's a D, Julia. That guy that shot the guy.
There we go. All of these things.
There is only one of those that is correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
I talked about the other ones.
You had 3 sniffs in this episode. You inhaled the beer 3 different times, and you also took 3 sips in these 15 minutes. That is 6 total countables, 12 ounces, just a little bit under a pint. Very respectable for a 15-minute, not a show, just a chaotic.
Yeah, I don't know if this
little
one counts as a show.
broadcast. Yeah, I mean you kept
Put it out there, bro.
You put it out there, and it is still out on YouTube and Facebook. So technically,
Maybe it's part 1.
Ooh.
Oh,
all right.
hey.
I like that. I like that.
Hey.
Another shorter recap that we're going to do is not even a recap, but just a mention. Craft Parenting Podcast. They are putting out
Who?
CPP.
Yeah, you know me.
Was that?
Joe and Caroline.
Caroline.
If you guys get a chance, send me a link to that. That sounds like a good show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What's on you, Lane?
They are putting out a video a day, which translates into a podcast a day for all of the Beer Vent beers.
Beer Vent. What's
Yeah.
that? Send me a link if you get a chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll send you a link.
We'll do. We're not going to talk about every single day because it's, the beer that they drank, their thoughts on the beer that they drank, them both reading things off of websites, and then just random tangents, which are
They find a
sometimes
way.
really hilarious.
They find a way to juice a new beer per day into 15 to 20 minutes of content a day.
Yes.
And I take my chapeau.
Usually
off
it's
to
by
them.
dressing up an inanimate object as
Yes.
your spouse.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
staring at it, waiting for it
mean,
to
A
talk.
tree,
You do
a
what you gotta
dog,
do. Yeah,
a
life-size statue.
a
of Freddy
catalytic
Krueger.
converter.
catalytic converter,
Yeah, yeah.
a Jello
Dress 'em up.
mold of a tree. You know,
I mean, but yeah, props to them for continuing to put out something every single day.
and then they discuss Krampus.
They discuss all
Krampus.
kinds of random
Krampus.
things. Yes.
Krampus.
Yes. Yep.
Krampus. How
definitely
many
should-
different ways can you pronounce it?
At least 13, by my count.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to move on to, just because, again, we have
You know,
other
I
things that we
ran into
wanna-
Krampus this weekend at
That's
Dark
what I
Charts
heard.
Day.
Oh, how was he?
That's
He
what
was
I heard.
doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did he?
How are kids?
We talked a lot about dogs because Krampus had heard about Taco.
Well, he's sensitive that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes dogs
I
are
mean,
better than people.
if he likes you, he likes you.
Yeah, we were good.
fair,
Like kids
yeah.
were already safe. I was safe. You know, I don't know that they would be safe now.
Hmm.
Certainly, Taco would get snatched up. Does Krampus take dogs?
No,
probably should.
dogs are immune, impervious to all of that stuff.
I feel like there should be a dog Krampus. I feel
No,
like,
we don't need that.
No.
I feel like you bite me a couple times because
think-
you're excited.
Because-
You
I think-
probably need beat with sticks.
I think that's the
we
dog
also eat
catcher.
sticks, so.
The dog catcher and Annie is the closest thing we have to dog Krampus.
Probably.
And then
yeah.
he went out there and tried to prove that this dog didn't like Annie. And then Annie proved that the dog did.
I wish I
And he
understood
was
this
very
reference,
pissed.
but it sounds like it probably is accurate.
It's a hard night light for us.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Sun will come
Especially
up
for
tomorrow.
those of us that own cars.
Is that Annie?
Yeah. Speaking about knock, my car.
Annie, are you okay?
Annie, are you okay?
Are you okay, Annie?
I don't know the next one.
Let's move on to Blake's Craft Beer Podcast. This was episode 40, the Craft Beer Summit 2024 Part 1.
Part
the Ohio
1.
Craft
Oh,
Brewers
part one.
Association.
So that
Yes.
means there has to be a part deux.
I think there's 3 parts.
I thought he said 4.
Trois. So there's
I
a
thought he said he
trois.
was- Okay. Either way, there are going to be multiple parts to the Craft Beer Summit 2024. I am so excited
I
for
may or may
all of
not
them.
be involved in one of them.
You are?
Yeah, just
cool.
putting it out there
Oh,
for,
wow.
the interwebs.
Interesting.
Nice, nice. So keep an eye on it.
I also
out.
may or
It's
may
gonna
not
be
wear pants for it.
Oh God.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do a Pooh Bear?
Oh yes, because he did not wear pants.
pants,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Pooh Bear it.
It fits.
Yeah, a Pooh Bear.
In part 1, he.
If you Pooh Bear, I'll Pooh Bear.
No
Okay.
one Pooh Bears.
We can
Julia, Pooh Bear?
No, hell,
trying to think of a good
no,
thing
no,
when you
no.
rub your Pooh Bears
no,
together.
No,
Pooh.
No?
What is a group of bears?
No. A pack. It can be called one of 4 different things.
All right. Let's make our choices.
Hello.
All right.
A group
Rank
of-
them 1 to 4.
A group of bears can be called a pack,
Okay.
Back, yeah.
a mall,
A poo ball.
Okay.
a sleuth,
A poo.
Or-
Pooh Sleuth.
or a sloth.
A poo sloth.
In this episode, Blake talked to Executive
Oh, yeah.
Director Mary McDonald
Podcast.
and Deputy Director Justin Meminger. I think I'm pronouncing.
Sure.
Hinninger, I think.
Oh,
H?
did I wrote down an M as in Mary.
I'm
I am-
74% sure it's Hinninger.
Henninger.
I mean, in
It should be
Blake's
on their
show
website.
notes, in Blake's show notes,
No, he should-
it is M with a.
Don't look at his show notes. Go to the website. Go to the Ohio Craft Beer Association, whatever. Go to their website.
Or are we telling the story when I met
No.
Mary?
Yeah. We're
Sure.
telling that story.
And then we need to.
All right, so
She's
we all
editing in her head already.
the Cincinnati craft beer content
Pod Squad.
a pod squad went up to Columbus, and just out of sheer coincidence, Mary happened to be having beers with several people at
Yeah,
a table,
whole big table.
Yep.
whole big table behind us. And I had enough liquid courage at the time to say, that's Mary. I'm going to go introduce myself to Mary. And I went up to Mary and I said, oh my gosh, excuse me. As I went to get beers and I came back, and I sort of not quasi bumped into her, but I sort of stopped and, oh my gosh, Are you married with the head of the Ohio OCBA? And were you on Thirsty Thursdays with
Brewery Explorers.
the Blake and the Brewery Explorers? And she looked at me and had her like mouth open, and the people she was with, like all of them put their heads in their hands, like, you can't be serious. And of course, I welcomed that as a response, but I also knew, oh man, that's not great.
I like how Marco left out the part where he said to me, "Come on, let's go over and say hi." And I'm like, I only know of her from the pot. Like, it's not the same for me as it is for you. So no, I'm good. You should go over. No, let's go over. And apparently he thought I was right behind him, and he turned around like, "Enjoy it," and I just was not there.
Yeah, you just weren't there.
Not with him.
I went downstairs to get another beer.
there.
I'm just like, I was just gone.
So she was very nice to me, and that's not.
She then looked over and saw the table, and Blake was at the table, and I was at the table, and she
And then she was like,
she kind of got it.
Okay,
She
so
got
that vetted Marco out. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so
She
she's
understood that he was not a crazy stalker.
Well,
She understood it was a 50-50 shot.
yeah, right. I'm like, meh. So, but anyways, yes. Fast forward to this interaction with
Yeah,
Blake.
so Blake talked to both of them about how they got their start into both beer and into the Brewers Association.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about the work to expand beverage services through COVID, and some of the things that they helped pass as far as laws are still in place today, such as being able
Yeah.
to order a margarita to go with your food.
It was a little bit of repetition. They were just on another podcast recently, and it was kind of some of the same stories.
But if you haven't listened to that show, I mean, it's...
yeah,
I mean,
that
not
happens with
everyone
that happens
listens
with us
to-
though a lot,
Sure,
Julia.
sure.
Though I mean, like it's repetition does happen.
But it's one of those things also where, for some people, us talking about this show or listening to Blake's podcast
Agree.
might be the only time or the first
Agree.
time that they've heard
Sure.
some of this.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're still working to fix the current distribution laws and issues that are going on, which
Yeah.
is going to be. I mean, that's really a long-term project.
It's-
I feel like, but the fact that they're
maybe,
willing to take
maybe
it
not.
on, maybe not. Right. Right.
There might be some kind of miracle here at the end of the year where things come together, but
Speaking of things coming together at the end of the year, at some point in 2025, Cincinnati is going to be the host location for one of their summits.
Saw that.
And
eclipsing stereotypes, whatever it's going to be
whatever
called.
it's going to be called this year or next year, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'd
like to.
I would love to know all the details on that because
Are you associated at all with the Ohio Craft Brewers Association?
I think the place I work for is. And me personally, I'm not.
Okay.
Other
Well, I
than
didn't know if there was-
working for the place,
For a
but
place, sure.
I did hear them mention the place you work at many times,
yeah.
like many times.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know
If you go
it-
back and listen to the episode.
I didn't know if it was the date or the place.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going to give away more then. Okay.
All right.
I think it was the date, but it was just funny because every time they would say it, I'm like, what?
Yeah. So, but anyway, I certainly am intrigued, and I would like to find out more, for sure.
I'm sure their website has all of that information.
It's got to be.
Will have. All
It's
of
got to
that.
be coming out soon because that's
want the-
that's a spring event, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So they,
yeah. So they need to.
They should have those details. It sounded like the details were like there. They just weren't finalized yet.
Yeah, they needed
and
to
so that should be.
put a
I
couple
imagine
nails in the
soon.
coffin.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know that that's not nails in the coffin.
Yeah,
A
okay,
couple.
fair.
What's a good way to say that? That's not about people dying.
They just need to finalize some details.
There we go. That's better.
No analogies needed for this. They're just finalizing some details.
Gotta
I think Nick left.
Gotta
they
pack.
talk about.
Oh no, there he is.
Pack a little more poo.
They talked a bit.
Yeah, hey now.
No. They talked a bit about the history of the
So
Ohio
he's a bear,
On
guys.
Tap app and how the app has grown and trying to bring other breweries in.
All people
kind
had
of
to do was take care of it and massage it, and it would grow.
There you go. And they talked about some of the implications of THC beverages and how the OCBA is involved, like understanding opportunities, restrictions, legislation, all of that, because all of those are good at potentially.
It's
become
important
bigger
for
challenges.
somebody to understand the laws.
Yeah.
And
It's crazy how much that stuff's growing.
Agreed.
you just gotta
It's been
massage
working
it and
enough,
stroke it.
Yeah.
Just give it a little tickle.
It was a great
Yeah.
episode. Definitely check this out and
We
keep your
stroke
eye
it.
out for the other parts of the Craft Beer Summit 2024 that Blake will be putting out. Multiple choice question for this episode. What are the current distribution
7.
laws akin to?
Oh, I'll wait for the
A,
multiple choices.
the opposite of a contract.
C.
B, are they akin to walking through a room full of Legos barefoot? Or C, or are they akin to a marriage?
Julie, are they D?
Whoa.
Oh, damn.
Hey,
That's way bigger than I remember.
or is it a little bit closer to what you read in the strange history books?
Let's move on to Barstool Perspective. That way we can wrap up this episode. Episode from December 6, 2024. Which
Can I tell you a joke right now? Well, not a really
Yes.
joke, a story.
No, right now.
I was at Dingle House.
Yeah, you were. All
having-
the dingles.
I was having. It is actually a real story. I was hanging at the Dingle House, and I was having some lunch.
okay.
I was having some lunch, and they were replacing a couple tap handles.
Eating out at the
and
Dingle House?
The bartender was yelling to the other bartender, but they needed bells. They were putting hop slam on, and they didn't have. The proper tap handles. They had a Oberon or something. She's like, no, you gotta change that. And she's like, we don't have any more balls. She's like, well, we gotta get more balls. And she's like, well, we gotta order the balls. We gotta get the ball. Call so and so, which is their Bell's rep, and we gotta get the balls. We need the balls. And everybody at the bar is confused, and because Bell's has balls on top.
Yeah,
It was fun.
Yeah. Did they ever get their balls?
I don't not.
Don't know.
Can
when
I
was
get
there.
my balls?
They
I played
did not
on
get their
them
balls when I was there.
balls, getting on them balls,
All
getting
right.
and making balls.
Go to Dingle House
don't-
today. Anybody that's listening, and tell me if there are balls.
All right.
Don't have them.
All right. Barstool Perspective from December 6, 2024, which I'm calling Yada Yada All My Hate, which was, I think, the absolute best quote in the world from...
Did Julia turn my mic down?
She totally muted you.
Yes.
It took her a while to figure out which one was you.
Which one? Because, right.
I was doing a balls thing.
I
to-
know, and I'm trying to get this wrapped up so that we can get to the other stuff that we're
Gotta
trying
wrap
to
it
do
up.
today.
It's a safe way to do it.
Barstool Perspective, we got a musical intro. They are working on a theme song or theme music for Barstool Perspective. I cannot wait. There is a liquor store / wedding chapel now.
Liquor store.
And it is not in the city that you would think it's in.
No, it's a city that I thought it was in. It's in New Orleans.
And that's because you are very intimately involved with were, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, a good portion of my life into my early adulthood was spent in New Orleans, and it's a great city. It's a wonderful city. Booze and beer as a culture is a thing. Tourism is a thing.
I guess I always
libations.
picture getting drunk and getting married as a Vegas thing and not a New Orleans.
no,
Marco is also like he dresses up like Elvis on the weekends.
That's true.
So like it all kind of fits
I mean,
together.
with the hair, the extra pomade.
Yeah, I do that.
I think he would make a good Elvis.
I have.
He would. He would. A very, very short one, but a good one. All right. Molson Coors is buying a craft brewery. Is it to get ahead of tariffs? Maybe.
Eh,
No.
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 Then why are they buying it? Just to shut it down as soon as they take it.
why-
I mean, that's what I mean.
Why have they bought anything?
To destroy it, to tear down what other people have built.
I don't
up.
think
have no
anybody
idea.
buys anything to tear it down. Most of the time.
I'm just being really dramatic about it.
I definitely think there are people that have bought things to make them not exist anymore. 100%.
Are you alluding to some of the Frisch's transactions recently?
No, I don't think that that was. I don't think that any company bought Frisch's specifically for.
You don't
Frisch's
think
to
that
be-
was a real estate play? Shut them down?
If
in
the
real
money
estate?
had worked, they would not have shut them down. It was because they were not bringing in the money they wanted to that it was okay to shut them down. But no, it was not
Very
a.
good. I think that kind of sounds like the same thing. Nick?
Maybe.
My dad's devastated, and I feel shout out to him.
Yeah.
Yes, he now has to drive 20 minutes to the nearest Frisch's.
Oh,
What's
that's terrible.
his favorite order from Frisch's?
God, everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
I just
big
I
boy
can't,
meal.
I can't even.
Oh,
Like,
no.
I can't even think about like Frisch's has gotten so terrible after they bought that company that I
Yeah.
have no desire to ever go there again.
Once they switched from Coke to Pepsi,
The
it
same
was
time frame. I don't
completely downhill, yeah.
I don't blame the switch, but it was that same time
sure, yeah,
that everything
yeah. But I
went
think
down.
more people were aware of the switch in beverage than they were about.
That's because we all
you know,
like to drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Intermittent scheduled rewards. That was a fun phrase. The chance at winning something for
Sounds like-
purchasing things.
Yeah.
Sounds like gambling. Nick, how do you feel about intermittent scheduled rewards at a place of business? Like in the concept of serving drinks. Like if you buy...
It sounds like
That's definitely not legal.
If you listen to the way it's worded, intermittent scheduled rewards
yes.
is not gambling.
No, but you can't from an alcohol concept, you can't do that in Ohio.
So if, say, there was somewhere that was doing something...
You could do it for food, obviously.
In this episode, you get the parallels between Mike and the Hawk to a Girl.
Yeah.
That was
I see
a
a lot
fun
of parallels.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to expand on that because
you don't want me to.
we are limited on
Not
time.
enough
We are
time.
limited on time. Binge
She's
drinking.
not in jail, by the way. That was
Correct, yes.
Something somebody said on the chat, and that is not true.
I think that there are guaranteed legal ramifications. I mean, again, the extent of those.
But no,
whatever, I don't know.
like a hawk to a coin or whatever.
she's not the one that did anything. Like, yes, she is
promoted
implicated
it,
in the
but
whole
yeah.
thing, but
Yeah.
she has no idea anything that's going on.
No shit. No shit.
Speaking
That's
of
crazy.
Poor girl.
Speaking of, in no shit news, binge drinking, which is considered 4 to 5 drinks in a 2-hour
Yeah.
time frame, or high intensity
There we
drinking,
go. There's
which
my
is
people.
10 or more in a row,
Wow.
according to Harvard, is bad for your health.
No way.
I know. I know.
Hold on.
I know. It's surprising to us all. That's why I put it in the no shit news column for this episode.
Nick?
Wait, it's 4 to 5 in 2 hours?
That is binge drinking, 4 to 5 drinks in a 2-hour time frame.
No,
And then high intensity drinking is if you have 10 drinks, 10 alcoholic beverages
And just
in
once.
a row. Yeah.
Matter-
I'm
yeah,
like,
Okay.
right.
All
That could be
Wow.
over 24 hours. That could
Yeah.
be over 2 hours. I mean,
Wow,
it's-
that's weird.
yeah.
Okay.
And apparently that's just not healthy.
What if you have 10 in 2 hours? What do they call that?
That's the same
Dead.
thing. Still same category.
Oh, yeah.
Alcohol poisoning.
It's exactly the
Yeah.
same if you drink 10 in
that a
2
super
hours as
binge?
it's 24 hours.
Bro. We're high intensity, bros.
And then they did not have a from the can beer review. I don't know why. They had plenty of time to do such things, but
They had to get out and invest on that hot coin.
this is very
Yeah.
true. Very true. All right, Gnome, this is going to be directed at you since Marco does not like
No,
to try
direct
to
it all
figure
over me.
out a multiple choice question
Okay.
for this episode. What is Conor McGregor's next career move? Is it A, investing in a rehab clinic? Is it B, running the Pentagon? Or is it C, switching to boxing and fighting Jake Paul?
Oh, Julia, where is it? D.
Nice.
Beat your wife corn. He's making his own. He's making his own coin. It's beat your
Oh,
wife corn.
God.
Was it his wife or his girlfriend?
Girlfriend.
Okay, well that's better. I guess.
I mean, either way. I
Not,
like
No contract.
Not his wife, but not his girlfriend. It
Just,
is
you
beat your lady friend.
A side
coin.
piece.
Yeah, beat your lady friend coin.
a piece
Is
of
that
the side.
that might even be
That's
better?
not-
Yeah. Yep.
What?
There's a contract if it's your wife.
Oh, my God.
If it's your girlfriend, it's a verbal contract. If it's just a lady friend, there's no contract. You can.
I don't know. I don't think that's okay.
Yeah,
I do
just
not
wanna tell
support
all the guys out
beating
there. It's not too
anyone
late
unless they deserve to be beat.
to get your wife a Christmas present. I know all of you have gotten your girlfriends one, but it's not too late to get your wife a Christmas present. Before
Don't
Christmas.
get them the same thing.
Don't. No.
Wife has
you
to get
wouldn't
something a
have.
little
I
bit
mean,
better.
obviously, you got your girlfriend 2 dozen roses. Get your wife maybe a dozen.
No,
or
no.
whatever.
Wife has to get at least one more rose than your girlfriend.
So the wife gets a baker's
Is that how that goes?
Yeah, yeah.
Sip count for this episode. Mike took 14 sips. Brett took 30.
All right. He's compensating.
He's
The
working.
poor guy.
He's working.
What?
And
He's
I'm
tiny.
trying
He's a
not
small
to
guy.
encourage him
I
to
mean,
drink.
Mike and I probably look eye to eye.
But if you
know.
look at the change with Brett, like there was definitely a distinct moment in time where he felt self-conscious about how much he
many
was
sips?
drinking because of you guys,
I'm sorry.
and now you made
I'm
him
sorry.
drink. Poor guy was trying to get like a good work day
just, you
done
know,
on a
whatever, and he
Friday.
was just like, God
Now
damn
he
it,
only
I
gets
have
half
to-
done
I
because
have
you
to
guys
get
screwed him
to
up.
this.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah, we're done.
Record it
It's,
and we're done.
It's
Fuck
10
it.
a.m. I gotta stop working because I gotta start drinking.
Brett, I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Julia's
anything by it.
fault.
She's not, but whatever.
That is a 44 total sips, which, according to our drinking game, 88 ounces, which is 5.5 pints in a 31-minute episode.
Okay,
Let's go.
That is
Let's go.
That is beyond respectable. That is problematic.
No, I
It's
mean,
31 minutes.
it's fine.
So
It
30.
depends.
So okay,
You know.
5.5 pints in 31 minutes. Is that binge drinking or is that high intensity
That's high
drinking?
intensity.
Or is it both?
That's high intensity, but
All
like
right.
high intensity is like Richard Simmons, and he was the healthiest guy I ever met.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not wrong.
Wait, and we could wear those shorts next episode.
I'm wearing them right now.
Let's go.
God.
Good for.
You don't have to ask God. We're here.
I can't. I was gonna make a poop packing joke, and I can't.
Not in those shorts, you can't. Oh man. Do we?
Take
I
five.
just. Good Lord.
We'll take 5 bar.
Those are all the.
Which is,
we're wrapping things up, so it is time for.
Fuck.
Did you not plan ahead, Marco?
No.
Never does. Never does. Shout out to Don Rock the Imposter on YouTube for that amazing recorder rendition of the Monday Night NFL theme music. I love it. We're not going to talk about points because we just don't need to. But you
Who got points this week?
I did.
Me!
I think we all got
I think
points,
I did.
actually. I think
I
we
did.
all did. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very happy for Gnome that he finally got one more point.
Hell yeah!
He is hanging on solidly in the third
All right.
place. We're not going to waste any time.
I'm the dingleberry of this competition.
I am
that's
taking
hanging
the
on.
Dolphins over the Texans.
Ooh, okay. Risky, but I like it. I like it. All right.
Dolphins
no.
over the Texans.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
All right.
Mixon's still playing for the Texans, right?
Don't
He's
care.
not injured. Oh.
care.
Oh.
You got
I don't
old
like-
Hoctua going, and he's on fire.
Who day?
No,
Who day?
Okay. All
Who
right.
day?
All right. And the Vikings are playing the Bears, so I feel like that's a really easy one. So I'm going Vikings
yeah,
again.
Okay.
I'm going to go
All right.
Vikings again.
A Viking and a bear battling sounds like a good. battle.
I'd watch that. I'm going to watch that
But
battle.
the Bears suck, so.
Right. So it's not going to be a great battle, but it is going to be one. All right. That is our NFL Deathmatch Challenge pick for Week 15.
Should we tell
We
them
are-
that we messed this up and you have to edit it in now and you're going to place it in there and like pretend that we didn't
and
mess it
act
up?
like, yes. So,
And since I'm saying it over the music, I know you have to leave it in.
damn it. So, and then
All right.
we'll get set up for the next adventure that we have to do tonight.
Ooh.
Good Lord, I don't know.
Yippee.
What, this is
Hey,
terrifying. If you like
my
what we've
shorts
done
on.
tonight for whatever reason,
Yeah, you
go to
do.
truthbeerpod.com. That's where you find links to absolutely everything from how to follow us on social media, even though we don't do a lot on social media, to our sister podcast, Cincy Beer Events, where we'll tell you all about Cincy Beer Events, our Patreon, where you will get the uncut version of this train wreck of a show. There's a lot of short talk involved. There's a lot of
Hey now.
stuff. It's great, I think.
Yeah.
Wherever
I don't
you
know.
follow, send them pictures of you
No.
in your short shorts like
No.
Richard Simmons.
Please do. Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
With that being said,
It's the uncut version.
Gnome, Marco, Nick, what are you guys going to be doing next Tuesday?
We're going to be right here next
Poop-
Tuesday
oh,
doing
yeah.
this.
Yes.
Cheers,
All right,
everyone.
cheers. We will see you
Which
next time.
Tuesday is Kolsch night?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
That's what I'll be doing. I'll be Kolsching.